Welcome back to the Mafuba Jar, where you've been sealed away for more Dragon Ball Super content. What's up, guys? It is time for another deck profile here on the Mafuba Jar. This is a deck that I've been working on for many weeks. I'm really excited to finally show it to you guys. As a matter of fact, I have managed to top a couple of times with this at locals, and it's such a good deck. Really, the leader on its own is just fantastic. I mean, he just stands alone, and you can build him with just about anything, but I am a very aggressive player, so I actually much prefer an aggressive build, so my deck is going to be red-black. And that deck that we're going to be profiling today is the Masked Saiyan. So the Masked Saiyan is a crazy good leader, one of the best ones out there, to be quite honest with you. It's got an activate main that says once per turn, place the top 3 cards of your deck in the drop area. If you place a black card in the drop area with this skill, this card gains critical. Now critical, of course, is when you take the life out of your, or you take a card out of your life and put it straight into the drop area. And if your card that you mill is any other color than black, it also gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So if you mill 3 straight cards that aren't black, it gains 5,000. If you mill 3 straight black cards, it's just critical. If you mix a combination, you get plus 5,000 and critical. So anything with critical is scary because obviously your opponent's gonna rely on the draws from their life to gain cards that they need in order to still be able to stay in the game. This leader does awaken at 4 life. When you flip the card over, it does the same exact thing, except for you can draw a card when you attack. Now, this is an interesting thing about this deck. I did not realize this about this leader until somebody told me about it after about a week of playing this. So I've known it for a while, but I didn't know it for the first week that I was playing this deck. Interesting little fact here. All right, so your leader card is here. You've got 4 life left, right? For the sake of arguments, let's just go 4 life. All right, so check it out. You got 4 life, it's your turn. So you choose to activate the effect. You mill 3 cards. Okay, you mill a black card and a red card. We're just gonna say that. And something else, doesn't matter. So right now it's at 15,000 in crit, right? So you flip the card over. It loses critical, but it keeps the 5,000 boost. So right now, Bardock, Unbound by Darkness, is a 20,000 power attacker. You can use the effect on this side as well. So you mill 3 again. You mill a black card and a red card. Now it has 25,000 power and critical. So that is the ruling. When you awaken, you lose the critical, but you keep the 5,000 bonus. So if you pull this off and you get that 25,000 crit by awakening, your opponent's got to do something to stop that because 25,000 crit is just very hard to deal with if you don't have a negate of some kind. So that is one thing that I do want to address right now off the bat so you guys are aware. That is how this card works. Activate the effect, flip it over, lose the crit, keep the 5,000, and you can gain another 5,000 and crit on top of that. So for that turn, 25,000 crit. So that's the way the leader card works. We're gonna set that over here. We're gonna take a look at the actual cards in the deck itself. And then after that, I'm gonna do something I haven't done before. We're gonna talk a little bit about what cards you could put in a potential side deck. For those of you who have played other card games like Pokémon, for instance, that don't come with side decks, sideboards, whatever you wanna call them, it is a 15 card deck that you set off to the side. So in a best of 3 match, you play your main deck as you built it. On game 2, you have the option of switching cards out of your main deck for cards that are in your side deck. You cannot change the 15 cards in your side deck once a tournament has begun, but you can take some of those cards out of your side deck and put them into your main deck and swap them out. So in a best of 3, side decks are a thing. Regionals and things like that are all best of 3. Locals are typically a best of 1 that don't have sideboards, but I know our locals is going to start doing sideboarding for the top 4. There's usually about 12 people or so in our events. So for top 4, we're gonna start doing sideboarding. So I'm gonna talk about the sideboards after this. So first and foremost, the most important card in this deck by far. We're gonna flip this back over here. And that is going to be 4 copies of Furthering Destruction Champa. When you combo with this card, choose one of your attacking cards. It gains double strike, which means that it inflicts 2 life instead of 1 for the duration of the battle. So this is my favorite way to start. I love going second with this deck. Love going second with this deck, okay? Because you can attack. So you draw for turn, you put your energy out, you mill 3, say you mill a red and 2 black. Perfect, 15,000 crit. It's early game, your opponent's not gonna negate, and they're not gonna wanna combo out of this, so you say, attack leader, 15,000 crit. They're most likely gonna say, all right, no negates. Tap that energy, combo with Champa, now it's a 25,000 double crit. It's overwhelming. Your opponent's not gonna wanna combo out of that. And if they do, they're limiting their hand size down to like 3 cards. I mean, it's brutal. And it may even be less than 3 cards because they're not gonna have but 1 energy out and they can only tap 1 for a 10,000 that costs 1. So chances are they're just gonna be like, all right, I guess I take it. Interesting little fact about this is that if you're playing against Super Saiyan 3 Goku, like I did a couple of weeks ago, I did this after they went first. So they took 2 life out of their, or 2 cards out of their life, placed it as energy with their auto. They're down to 6 life. I just hit them with double crit. Fantastic. Now they're down to 4 life because they chose to take it. And then I even did something even more nasty because now I have 4 cards in my drop. I actually activated another card, which we'll be talking about here in a little bit. I Overrealm Mira. And that's crit as well, so it's just, it can be really, really disgusting what you can do with this deck, and the aggressiveness of the deck, the power, just the sheer force and brute overwhelming strength. So anyways, 4 copies of Champa, double strike crit is just devastating in this game, so it's a very important card, and I feel like it needs to be mentioned first and foremost because you cannot play this deck without 4 copies of Furthering Destruction Champa. All right, next up here, we have another card. If you go second, most decks are gonna put out a battle card on their first turn, whether it be Kind Saiyan Goku or another 1-drop of some kind. There's plenty of them out there. There's Trunks and a whole bunch of others. So if they play down a battle card on their first turn, fantastic. You know why? Because we've got 4 copies of Bodyguard Legic. This is a blocker, and its permanent says when your opponent has battle cards in their battle area, you can play, when your opponent has battle cards in the battle area and you don't have battle cards in your battle area, you can play this card from your hand without paying its cost. So they put something down turn 1. Cool. Draw, put down my energy, play Legic for free. I've got a blocker right off the bat that really nothing can be done about unless they pop it, which they can. Some of these cards can pop it. So that's the only way they're gonna get rid of it. And this is definitely gonna remain a big deal for the entire game until they're able to get rid of this somehow. And you know, if you don't need it, then hey, you got red energy to charge. So that's always a good thing as well. You're gonna wanna charge at minimum 2 red energy every single game as fast as possible. Ideally, you wanna get all your energy to be red because black doesn't need energy. It doesn't matter what it is. So 4 copies of Bodyguard Legic. Next up, we have 4 copies of our 1-drop Saiyan Kaba. So this is how we're gonna awaken very quickly. Kaba is just a staple in pretty much every red deck. When you play this, or I'm sorry, when this card attacks, you may choose 1 card from your life and add it to your hand. If you do so, the card gains 10,000 power and double strike. So now this is a 15,000 double striker, and you're taking a card out of your life to put it into your hand to bring down your life count. I can't stress this enough, guys. In this game, for those of you who are not familiar with it, the name of the game here is to awaken as fast as possible. Don't worry about protecting yourself in the early game. You want to get yourself down to 4 life. 4 life is where you want to be. If your leader says 4 life, it awakens. If it's more or less, then whatever. But most of the leaders awaken at 4. So once you get to 4 life, then you can start worrying about whether or not if you want to start defending yourself and comboing out of things and negating things. But for the most part, you want to get down to 4 life as fast as humanly possible to take advantage of your leader's awakened side. And you want to keep your opponent from awakening, because if you keep your opponent from awakening, their leader is weaker and they can't hurt your awakened leader. It's 10,000 versus 15. They're gonna have to combo up just to even get to that point. So the name of the game is prevent your opponent from awakening and make sure you awaken as fast as possible. That's how this deck works. That's how most decks in Dragon Ball Super work. So if that clears up any confusion for you, I hope it does. But anyways, next up here, we've got 4 copies of Quick Rush Trunks. Now, most of the time I charge this as red energy, not gonna lie. Critical is great, and it actually did win me a game one time against a Mecha Frieza Apes deck. He did not see it coming. I had 3 energy untapped. I tapped 2 for Quick Rush Trunks, and then I tapped 1 for double strike, or for double strike Champa. And it was a double strike crit with a bunch of combo cards I threw on top of it. I shotgunned him, that's what that's called when you play out your hand in combos, and he couldn't get out of it. He didn't see it coming. So Quick Rush Trunks can be a good attacker, not to mention critical is always great, but in this deck, he mostly gets charged as energy. But in late game situations when you're looking to really just kind of surprise your opponent and you have energy untapped, he's a good way to do it. Because they think you're just gonna leave 2 open for something like Topo, or you're just gonna use it as negates or something. But anyways, moving on. Next up here we have 4 copies of Unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Goku. Now, this is a brand new card addition to the deck. This was actually a suggestion by one of our local players that usually tops just about every event that he gets his hands on. He's built some incredible decks and some unusual ones as well. Matter of fact, he really destroyed me one week with Dr. Mew. That was an interesting one. All those machines, man. Crazy good stuff. But anyways, this card is only going to be used as combo fodder. Essentially what you're going to be doing with this is paying the 1 energy, comboing for up to the 10,000, and then, as the auto says, when a card evolves into this card, or if you combo with the card, you can draw a card. So you're getting a 10,000 power, you're paying 1 energy, and you get to draw a card. Essentially, this is like Boost Attack Piccolo, but it costs 1 energy instead of being for free, and you having to be 4 life or less to play it. So you can play this at any time, and it will give you that 10,000 boost, and you get to draw a card, which drawing in this game, in any card game, is crucial. So there's our 4 copies of Unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Goku. Again, this is the biggest addition that I've put here. Previously, I had Jocko in here, and Jocko just wasn't cutting it. I was mainly just Jockoing up things like every once in a while, but it was never enough. Like, most of the people I play against, they know when to play their combos down, and 1 Jocko doesn't make a difference unless you have all 4 in hand. It's not as good in this deck as it is in others. All right, as I said earlier about Topo, this is the final red card that we play. Pride and Justice Topo. So this is a really interesting attacker. It's an attacker and a negate at the same time. You get to play this card and negate the attack on your opponent's turn. So if they attack you and you have this in your hand, you can pay the 4 energy to negate the attack, or if you or your opponent's leader card has 15,000 or more power. Either or, you or them, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. So you can actually pay 2 to negate the attack, and now you have a 20,000 power attacker on your board with a very good auto. It says, when this card KOs your opponent's battle card, switch it to active mode. So you can clear boards with this pretty easily. 20,000 power is nothing to sneeze at, and you're able to just start hitting battle cards, clearing their board, and then going after their leader. And it's a negate on top of that for 2. So it's a great card. No red deck is gonna play without this. And there is a running joke about Topo and Quick Rush Trunks. Quick Rush Trunks is just energy for Topo. That's just the way it is. So Topo, great card. This is your red engine right here. You've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24? 24 red cards, am I counting that right? Yeah, 24 red cards. And the rest of them here are all going to be black cards. So let's get started here. First, the card that I showed you guys earlier, we have 4 copies of Mira from the Darkness. Now this is in the EX Dark Demon Villains kit that you just can't really find anymore. They were like a 1 print run. Some places are doing a little bit of a restock, but not very much. And these are very pricey now. They were like $15 when they came out, and now they're like 58 to 60. It's nuts. So if you didn't get these, I'm sorry. Because you also get Time Patrol Trunks in those too, and you only get 2 copies of each card per one. So to get 4 of these, you're gonna have to get 2 of the Dark Demon Villains kits in order to get them. So if you don't have them, I'm sorry. But it's one of those things. Anyways, Mirror from the Darkness, Overrealm 4. So if you have 4 cards in your drop area, I'm just gonna do it like this, for instance. 4 cards in your drop area, perfect. Doesn't cost any energy. You just put them to your warp and throw this out on the board for free. So Mirror from the Darkness, the auto says, when you play this card using Overrealm, it gains critical for the duration of the turn. This is a big deal because, again, critical, critical, critical. We have 3 attackers with critical right now, and it's pretty darn good. If you have 2 energy out on board, untapped. You can attack with your leader, you can Champa double crit, and then you can go Overrealm, Mira, Champa, double crit again. It's brutal, absolutely brutal. So 4 copies of Mira from the Darkness is absolutely necessary for the deck, 100%. Sorry about the quick cut there, my microphone battery decided to die on me. So the next card we're gonna be taking a look at in the deck. Now, the only thing with this is, it's probably one of the most expensive cards in the deck, and there's not really much you can do about it, but it's such a good card and it's so necessary to the deck in my opinion. The only way you can get this is from the Tournament Series Pack 3 promos. So you're gonna either hoping to win them or you're probably gonna have to purchase them. That is gonna be 4 copies of Scientist Few. Now, like I said, this is a tournament pack promo for set 3, so the tournaments are going on. If you happen to win them and you pull these, save them. They're about $15 to $20 a piece, but they're such good cards, especially in this deck. I say run 4 because when you're milling stuff with your leader, chances are you're probably gonna throw away 1, 2, possibly even 3 of these without even meaning to. And then the card is completely pointless for you. You want to play this card at least 1 to 2 times per game. So it's got an Overrealm of 7. So you take 7 cards out of your drop, put it in your warp, and you tap 1 energy. Now this is pretty easy because the Mass Saiyan mills cards for you. If it mills 3 and then you awaken, you're milling 3 more. And if you combo with something, there's your 7th card and you can play this out. When you play this card using Overrealm, you get to draw 2 cards. That is one of the biggest deals of it. It also has double strike and it's 25,000 power. Now granted, this is not a card that deals critical damage, but it is a very, very powerful attacker and your opponent's not really gonna want to throw away a whole bunch of combos if they can help it. So you're really disrupting your opponent's hand as well, especially later on in the game when they're trying to conserve resources to make sure that they themselves don't get beaten. But the draw support helps you as well because you're drawing up more cards and that's gonna help you to stay alive against your opponent as well. But I really do recommend 4 copies of Scientist Few. If you don't run the 4 copies of Scientist Few, there are a couple of other options you could potentially run. You could run another copy of the Increasing Evil Mass Saiyan. You could also run the other another copy or 2 of the Mass Saiyan the Mysterious Warrior. You can go back to the 4 Jackos. There are other options, but I feel like the deck really does its optimal best with 4 copies of Scientist Few. So anyways, going back, our next card we're gonna take a look at here is Increasing Evil Mass Saiyan. So this is an Overrealm of 4 and it costs you 1 energy. When you play this card using Overrealm, choose 1 card in your life and add it to your hand. If you do, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less and send it to their warp. So this is really good. It acts like a Kale. You can pop things with blocker because it doesn't say that you can't. You can't target things with barrier though, that's the only bad part. So you cannot pop things that have barrier. When I say pop, I mean send it to their warp. But you can get rid of blockers. You can get rid of shadow tokens, like what Goku Black puts out when they put down theirs. The Gotenks tokens, you can pop those as well. And they're all 0 cost, so you can get rid of everything plus energy cost of 5 or less. So actually it says choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards. I'm thinking of the next one, my mistake. You can send 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less. That can be a blocker, that can be anything that's under 5. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. The card that I'm thinking about next is actually the Mass Saiyan the Mysterious Warrior, which we'll look at right now. We've got 3 copies of that. So actually you'd be running potentially 1 more copy of each of these in place of Few with 2 of something else maybe. I don't know if you can't get them. But 3 copies of the Mass Saiyan the Mysterious Warrior, Overrealm of 5 and tap 1 energy. To play it, when you play this card using Overrealm, choose any number of your opponent's battle cards without blocker, for which the total cost adds up to 5 or less and send them to the warp. This is the one that pops tokens. Shadow tokens from Goku Black, tokens from Gotenks, anything like that. Those are all 0 cost. This will pop it, send it to the warp, and you still can get rid of anything else up to 5. This is a big deal because there's a lot of stuff out there that you want to get rid of. You can do it with this or this, it doesn't really make a difference. You want to get rid of Kind Saiyan Gokus, any kind of Goku really, because Ultra Instinct is a problem. You can get rid of anything really, but you can do it up to 5 any number up to 5 with this one, and any 1 up to 5 with this one. This one pops blockers, this one does not. So you kind of want to use them sparingly. This one does not take a card from your life, this one does. So this helps you self-awaken much like Kaba does. So if your opponent's stalling you out, you actually have 7 outs to being able to awaken yourself. Next up, we've got 2 copies of Haru Haru Attacker Majin. Now this is a really good card right now, and it probably will remain pretty decent moving forward after the Mecha Frieza errata. But Haru Haru has critical, so this is your 1, 2, 3, 4th card with critical. The auto says when you play this card, place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck into the drop area. It helps you mill if you want to. When you play this card, if your opponent's leader card is green or yellow, choose up to 4 of your energy and switch them to active mode. So you can tap 3 energy, play this card, mill the 2, and if your opponent's leader card is yellow or green, you can switch those energy back to active. It's like playing down a 3-drop crit for free. Pretty darn good. Again, you can chomp it with this as well and make it double crit. So I run 2 of them just to be a little bit conservative because you're not always going to run into this. There's a lot of blue that's popular, a lot of red that's popular, and obviously the Mass Saiyan's popular too. So that's 3 out of 5 decks that this card does nothing against. Our final attacker that we have here is 2 copies of Trunks Power Overseeing Time. You could actually run a 3rd copy of this as well. You could go 1, 1, and 1 if you don't have the Scientist View, and add another Haru if you wanted to, or just go 4 Jackos. Either way, it doesn't make a difference. But Trunks Power Overseeing Time, Overrealm of 4 and tap 2 energy. It's got double strike, and when you play this card using Overrealm, choose up to 1 battle card in your warp and add it to your hand. That is really, really, really good in this particular deck, and a lot of others as well. Any battle card out of your warp into your hand. You're gonna be overwhelming a lot, so you're gonna get rid of stuff that you may not want to. You can get back another Haru and tap the 3 and get it back again if you wanted to. You could get another few to put out there and start doing that again. If you need a blocker and you don't have any board, you can get down a Legic for free. It's just a lot of things you can do. And one of the most popular things to do is to get back this. This is a battle card. It's a super combo card, but it's still a battle card. Supreme Kai of Time, World's Protector. So this is your super combo. When you combo with this card, if there are 5 or more cards in your warp, draw 1 card, and this card gains 10,000 combo for the duration of the turn. So this is something you can activate no matter what your life is. If you have 5 in your warp, this deck gets 5 in the warp by turn 2 every single time. It's just almost, well, I should say 95% of the time, you got a turn 2 possibility to use Supreme Kai of Time. With Trunks Power Overseeing Time, this plays this up to 6 times. If you play 2 Trunks Power Overseeing Time, you can get 2 of these back, and now you have 6 super combo cards. That is why Trunks Power Overseeing Time is starting to really come up in price, because it's just so good, especially in decks that have Supreme Kai of Time. So there's that. We do run negates in the deck. We run 4 counters, other than, of course, Topo. We have 4 copies of Time's Judgment. This is a card that I use mostly just in the late game. Negate the attack, then you may place 2 cards from your hand in the drop area. If you do, add this card back to your hand. Whis is still better in my opinion, but we don't run blue energy, so Time's Judgment the best we have. Sometimes I'll pitch 2 to get this back, but most of the time I'll just let it go, because by the time the late game comes around, I've probably got at least 2 of these in my hand, so there's not really a point in doing so. But there you go. There is the deck, guys. The Mass Saiyan Red Black. Hopefully you guys do enjoy it and try it out for yourself. It's really, really good. Again, I understand some cards are actually a little bit difficult to come by, especially the Mirror from Darkness, the Mass Saiyan, the Mysterious Warrior. They're both from that Dark Demon Villain set. If you don't get a hold of them, I hate to say it, but they're pretty important to the deck. I would say just try to get them in singles. These in particular are not as bad as Time Patrol Trunks is, but if you can get a hold of the entire kit, the entire Dark Demons Villains kit, if you can get it for under 50 bucks, grab it, because there's a lot of value in there. The Trunks alone are worth 40 bucks, the 2 that are in there. You're gonna need to get 2 of each of those kits to have a total play set for 4, because they only come with 2 each, 1 hollow, 1 non. But we got 8 of them, and we got 2 play sets, so myself and Noel have enough. But those are the 2 hardest cards to get outside of Scientist Few as a tournament promo. Again, this card's running $15 to $20. I got lucky. I got this for like $12 to $13 a piece at the time. It's such a great card. I'm so glad I got it, but I understand that they might not be the case for you. The Unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Goku, this is in a starter deck, so the red GT starter deck that came out with set 3, you're gonna need to get, I think, I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2 that you're gonna need in order to get this card, but everything else is in set 3. I don't think there's anything else other than the Further Instruction Champa, that's in set 1. Kaba's in set 1. Everything else, I believe, is in set 3, or it's a promo, or it's the Dark Demons villains. So this is set 3, this is set 3, set 3, set 3, set 3, set 3, set 3. Yeah. And then this, Increasing Evil Mass Saiyan, is the promo card that comes with the special pack kit. So you're gonna need to get a few of those in order to get that as well. So it's not the most simple deck to obtain, but I promise you it is really, really good. Now, as far as sideboarding goes, as I mentioned before, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about sideboarding. If I were to sideboard, I would throw in 2 more Haru Haru, so there's 2 off to the side, because again, green and yellow are gonna be fairly prevalent for a while. Green is gonna become very prevalent because Cell is back again, so you're definitely gonna wanna keep a way to get 4 of those if you can. It's gonna save you games, I promise you. We were also talking about sideboarding for Jackos. I don't have them now. I don't necessarily miss them, but they can be good because you're adding 5,000 and you're eliminating whatever combo cards your opponent put out there. So it can be very helpful. So that's 6 cards. We were also talking about putting out Vados as well. What else were we talking about? That was 4 though, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know we were talking about that. Oh yeah, and we were also talking about putting in 4 of the Miraculous Comeback Gohan. I think that was the last card we were talking about. Because against Cell, they're gonna cut down your hand size. You can play Gohan for even cheaper when your hand size is down really low. So you can have 4 of those as well. So that's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and we had 2 of something else. I can't remember exactly what it was we were thinking about. I think it might have been Jiren. We were thinking about doing 2 Jiren. You could potentially do it. You could also add more Trunks power overseeing time. Or you could even go a 1-1 split of these if you wanted to. There's a lot of cards you could put for side deck, but those are just options that you guys have if you would like to. If you're playing best of 3s, tournaments, or anything like that, or you just want to get used to sideboarding in general, those are the options that I would say are your best choices. So, all right guys, that's gonna do it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this deck profile. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe for more content here on the Mafuba Jar, and feel free to try this out any way you like. This just gives you an idea of a really good, solid base that's had a lot of testing behind it and has proven results. That is pretty much all I can say about that. But anyways guys, that's it for today. We'll see you next time. Until then, you have been released.